Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. It is Tuesday, and the market rally today. Boy, I tell you, it is a tough one to figure out. But we did get a nice little rally today on some of the stocks. But I still think we're in a downward trend, and I think it's really prudent to be very, very cautious in terms of getting into positions. I know I've been kind of been a little bit on the fence. I do want to do some more shorting. I do think that we are likely to move down. I mean, basically, I think we're going to be moving down right in up until the election, which is in November. It's wise away, and then I think we'll rally after that. But we are still in a downward trend, I believe, even though we did have a rally today. So really tough market to trade. I'm still mostly in cash and looking for opportunities mostly in the medical area. Just wanted to go through a few things. The Dow was up very nicely today, 2.13%. It's up. Also, the S&P was up 2.49%, and the Nasdaq, where all the good stuff is up 2.83. Also, the Russell was up quite a bit, 3.3%. That's, of course, the small cap stocks, and a lot of that's a very nice relief there. By the way, there is an ETF that covers the Russell 2000, and that's the IWM. If you're looking to get exposure there, just showing the small portfolio. We're back to square one on Dollar Tree. We're basically off 0.01%. You can't get more. Almost running in place there. It's kind of just running in place. The buy price 170. The close was 170.21. So basically one penny different, not a whole lot. We've held that one for 5 days. I definitely like Dollar Tree. It's in the discount retailers, which I do think is getting a lot of love these days. Also, there's some other ones, great ones in there, like Ollie's, OLLI, and some other ones as well. But right now I'm in Dollar Tree. CRISPR, this is a gene editing company out of Switzerland. I almost said Sweden there. It's up nicely today, 1.83% after being pulled back yesterday. I've just held this one for 6 days. Not a whole lot of time there. Then we also have a medical software company, and that one was up today. And basically, it's pretty much even as well. We bought it at 71.62, currently 71.48. So almost nothing there. It's almost a nothing burger. So basically, this shows you all three of these ones that we were holding long are up today. CRISPR, of course, was up very nicely, $4.42. Dollar Tree was up 71 cents, and then the medical software company LNTH was up $4.60. So, but what is a little bit concerning here, of course, is the volume is down on them. So it's a very, very sluggish market. There's another medical stock that is up on the looking kind of like it's possibly in a buy zone. This is a company that makes, and I've traded this one before, but quite a few years ago. This one's interesting because they make a insulin product that is in powder form, which is very interesting, and it is basically at a 81.63 buy point, right below the buy point. Relative strength has definitely improved, and the second quarter earnings are due out on the 2nd of August. So it's a little bit tight in terms of that. We only really have 2 weeks going into the earnings, but I think this one might be a look-see. This is the IBD stock of the day, and I think it looks pretty good. It's in the right area. Medical definitely has been one of the great areas. Just like to cover some of the areas of strength in the market right now. This basically is the industry group rankings. I'm going to show you that. And if you want to get connected with that, super easy to do. Just go to this. Just go to this email. Just go to this web address, https://bit.ly/DTF, all capitals, 0160. And I'll leave that up for a second as we kind of go down some of the list of the stocks of the areas that are still the strongest. Oil and Gas Royalty Trust, it is still number one. And that is amazing when you consider it. I'm going to see if we can This is as of February, so we kind of got to make it. Let's move out there a little bit. There we go. And what we're doing here is we're just kind of showing where the strength in the market is. And this is color-coded, of course, green being the number one area. Oil and gas royalty trust, coal, energy, solar. These are all very, very strong. Really, pretty much really unchanged for quite a few months now. We do have some medical diversified coming up. We have some of the medical coming in here. This is why I've been particularly interested in this area. One of the prominent tickers, of course, is Mckesson. Now, I was in Mckesson, but I got stopped out of it, unfortunately. But that one's worth taking a look at. Mckesson. Also, the medical diversified, and that's also looking pretty good as well. But most of these are pretty boring stocks. United Healthcare, Humana, those kind of stocks. But definitely we're getting some strength in the medical area. In the biotechs, this one that we just put up, INCY, might be of interest. This is just the stock of the day today, INCY. We're going to take a look at that in just a second on the energy group list. I'm going to keep this up on the screen so that everyone can see it. And then, just you can go to this list so you can everyone can see it. But let's take a look at INCY on the live chart. And there we go, INCY. Let's take a look. Yeah, okay. And this has an interesting chart to it. We're basically right at the buy point, and that's right here. Basically, this is a cup with handle formation, so it's a good formation. To take a look at. One of the things I do like about this area, 9 out of 197. So that's very strong when it comes to this, something that possibly you could possibly get involved with here. Checklist pretty strong, 78. It's off a little bit in terms of the EPS rating and the earnings per share percentage, but everything else looks pretty darn good. Pattern rack, of course, on this we're almost right at the buy point. Buy point being 81.53. Excuse me, 81.53. We're currently at 81.36. So, kind of an interesting look. Well, let's take some questions here from YouTube. By the way, if you're watching on TikTok, super easy to get these. To get these, all you have to do is just go to www.DallasTradingFloor, or you can just go to the link that I have in the bio. Click on that, and you'll be able to see all the charts that we have. Are you still in a bear trade? Can we short Apple? Yeah, I'm still looking to be bearish. I'm not. I looked at shorting Apple, but I'm a little bit afraid of shorting Apple, just because I think that if we do get a rally, Apple is likely to be one of the primary beneficiaries. So I know that people, especially Paul Ryan, has put out there that we might be in a situation where you could short Apple, and it's definitely true. We're definitely seeing this move up here, but we're also seeing a move up in after hours on relatively light volume. I don't think there's a lot of more people that want to come into this, and there is a lot of overhead supply on this issue. So I don't know. I'm really of two minds here. I probably would not be a short here. I just want to be a short. I know that people are looking for that, but I probably wouldn't be a short on that. All right, let's take a question from TikTok. Thank you very, very much for taking a look. Let's see, more likes. Okay, here we go. Are we bottomed? This is a question from Roro no Roro no 01371. I should be. I wish I could show this on the screen. But have we bottomed? Well, I don't think so. And here's why. I want to look at the spider. And of course, this is the ETF that covers the S&P 500 stocks. Now, we did get we did get a rally today. It rallied up to the it rallied up to the oops, there we go. It rallied up to the 50-day moving average, as you can see. But but I do think that it's going to reverse lower. Now it is higher after hours, but I think that by the end of the week we're going to see this thing move lower. Now I could be eating a lot of crow here. Believe me, I've done that many a time. But here's why I say that. If you'll notice, the spider came down, and then it came down to this consolidation at about 362. And you'll notice that forms kind of a L shape, kind of a shelf there. Well, this form typically is a form that kind of is a precursor to a drop off. So I do believe we're going to see this thing drop, and I think it's going to drop at least to 360, and it may drop lower. So I don't think that we're through, unfortunately, with the I think this is a reprieve. I think this is a rally. We're in a rally, but I think we're going lower probably until the election. I mean, that's what I think. But again, I could be all wet on that. But I do think we're going to go lower. So I would not, I wouldn't, I do have some long positions, but I'm going to get ready to close them the minute there is a retreat. So I'm going to be pushing out my stop losses on them. But I think the overall direction is still down, and I think we did get a nice bounce, but I don't think we're going to move. I don't think we're out of there. I don't think we bottomed at all, unfortunately. Let's look at MS. Maybe this is Microsoft. Is that right? Well, we'll take a look at MS and see what's going on here. Morgan Stanley, and if the interest rates go higher, it'll be good for some of the banks. I just can't get very excited about the banks, and the reason I think that I think they're very weak right now. That's my guess. I think with the raising interest rates, we're going to see the value of their collateral move lower. So even though they may be making more profits on the loans, I think that their loan loss reserves are going to have to be increased based on this asset deflation. Now I say asset deflation. It's weird. Obviously we were having inflation on consumer products, on inputs into the system, but we are having actually asset deflation. The price of real estate, especially in the residential sector, is actually going down. And I think that's true with a lot of other things as well. So we have asset deflation, and that can be very dangerous for a bank, because if they have a lot of loans, the value of those loans goes down. Why? Because the value of the underlying asset goes down. And I do think that is going to be the case. So I would not be a buyer of, I wouldn't be a buyer of Morgan Stanley right here. I just don't think, I think right now it's the greatest time to be in it. Just not really a great time, unfortunately. Is the market sell-off over? Can we get back to normal? Boy, I wish we could, Jay. I don't think it's over. I mean, now I sound very pessimistic here, and I'm not a pessimistic person, but I do think that we are in a downward trend. And let's look at the QQQ. This, of course, is the ETF that covers the NASDAQ 100, the 100 largest stocks in the NASDAQ. Now, here's what's happening. I mean, as you can see, the trend is still downward. Now, we did sort of have a little bit of a bump up here, but I don't see this as a reversal. I see it kind of as a testing of the 50-day line. I wish this was moving up higher and faster, but I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I don't think we're going to get back to normal for a while. I think we're going to have very, very sluggish market until about September, and then I think it probably will resolve itself. But I mean, that's what the history tells us, is that typically in an election year, in an off-term election year like we're in, it typically is it's typically down until the until the election, and then after the election it tends to move up. I don't know if that's a good case here, but I still think we're in a downward trend, and I think we got to be very careful right now. It's the summer doldrums. The volumes are light. Not a lot of strength in the market. The market areas that are doing the best are medical, which is a very defensive area, and a lot of the tech stocks. Of course, they don't have a lot of earnings, so they're not faring as well. Let me kind of show you one that I do have a short on, and that is a Cloudflare NET. Now, I could have come into this one too early, but this one I think is going to even head lower than this. It was let's see, it was up a little bit today, but it was up about 71 cents. But the volume, so it's moving up, but the volume is low. Again, this is suffers from what many of the software stocks suffer from, and of course that is nice sales here, but to very, very high PE ratios. The price to earnings ratio on this one is 998. So quite a bit of quite a not a lot of earnings relative to the price of the stock. And as you can see, it's moved up, and then it's moving down, and this is kind of a classic form. I mean, you've got your left shoulder, you've got a head, and then you've got a right shoulder, and that is a shorting pattern. As you can see, it came, obviously that would have been the correct place to short. It just went down, and then I think it's going to continue to go down. So, needless to say, unfortunately, I don't think the sell-off is over with. I wish it was. I just think you got to play it very, very tight to the vest, and that's it. That's what I intend to do here. All right, let's take a question from TikTok. Thank you so much. Microchips, the one that Pelosi's bought. Okay, well, let's take a look at Pelosi's husband bought NVIDIA, and I think that did well today. And it may benefit. I mean, they're looking at doing a $52 billion subsidy for the chip industry, which I don't know. I'm really of two minds there. I think that they could just do it by restricting by restricting Chinese chips, but I don't think they're willing to do that. That's the problem. They're talking out the two sides of their mouth. I mean, I do think that we need the strategic industry, the chip industry. They need to. They are buying. Here in Texas, we're seeing a lot of activity. A Korean company is going to be building a fab basically right north of Dallas here. They're going to spend like $20 billion, a lot of money on it. They're building a new fab, of course, down near Austin. And of course, in Dallas itself, I think TI has like 4 or 5 fabs already. I'm very close to one of the original ones, which is K-Fab. But and I do think it's probably going to be a good thing. But the problem with the chip industry is it takes several years to come online. Now there is sort of an alternative company, GFS. Let's look at kind of see how they're doing. I mean, if you're interested in this play, I'm not in GFS right now. This essentially is a quote startup. It isn't really a startup, but as you can see, it's been pulling. I'll pull that up. That's that chart up there. It's starting to make its move upwards, but it's still been pulling back. This stock is likely to benefit tremendously if there is increased subsidies for the chip makers. This company is called Global Foundries, and it's actually based in New York State, but they have a large facility in Austin, and they are a domestic chip maker. This one should do well. This is a company kind of like TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, that actually makes chips for other companies. So most of the companies that you hear about, the chip companies like NVIDIA, AMD, and those companies, they are fabless. They don't make their own chips. They source it out primarily to TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, but also to TI. TI does quite a bit of manufacturing from other companies, but and of course that's really what we need to bulk up in this country. I'm glad they're at least looking at it, but hopefully that will happen. But Pelosi's husband was a buyer of NVIDIA, NVDA. Of course, we've traded this one here for quite a bit. I'm not currently in NVIDIA. I'm kind of waiting for sort of a move. It did peek its head over the 50-day line. I'm not convinced yet. I really don't want to buy anything. I mean, I know that there's a lot of bottom fishing going on here, but I really kind of want to wait until it comes above that 250-day line, that 200-day moving average. One of the things that I don't like about Nvidia right now is this 200-day moving average is sloping down. That means the money is still coming out of it, and we don't know. I want to see this thing be a little bit higher before I have the confidence to to buy this again. The problem, of course, with this is all this overhead supply. I'm just drawing the line here. It's pretty much right at the 200-day line. Everybody that bought up here, every time there's going to be a rally, they're going to be sellers. So, maybe Paul Pelosi knows something that we don't, probably, and he did buy, a tremendous amount of this stock. So he probably has an inside connection. But inside, it's rules for we don't live under the same rules, because we're the peasants, and we don't have the insider trading information here, unfortunately. I'm going to kind of stay behind and back away from it until I see a little bit more strength here. I'm just not convinced, but yeah. All right, let's look at HALO, and let's look at Halo. HALO, and see what's going on there. And okay, this is one of the things about biotechs. One of the hardest. It's one of the hardest areas to trade because there's just so many biotech companies out there. But this one is it's right in the buy point. It's right in the buy range. It's the buy point on this one 48.58. It's at 51, so it's right in the buy zone. This is absolutely buyable. Now, on the relative strength line, it is pointing up. It is a 97 relative strength. It had been pulled down a little bit, but the trend on that relative strength line I really like. It's all the way up. By the way, you always want to buy a stock that is trending above the S&P 500. And this black line here is the S&P 500. It's moving down, and the relative strength is moving up. So this is probably something that's absolutely worth looking at. It's got a checklist of 89, which is very, very strong. The only thing it's really failing on, of course, is the EPS rating, which I don't think is really that significant considering it's hitting on all cylinders, on all the other cylinders. Still relatively close to the 10-day line, so this is technically not a bad place to buy a share. I wouldn't buy more than a half a position though, but I definitely think you can buy this one. I think this is worth looking at for like a half position. So I would say half position on HALO. I think you definitely could buy this one. It's set up very, very nicely, and I think it's definitely worth your time. It's a very, very good one. Thank you for bringing this up. Very, very nice. All right, let's look at not just the normal suspects. All right, so let's look at LEGN. Take a look at that. LEGN. And that's biotech again. This is a American Depository Receipt, so it's actually a foreign company. It has pulled into the buy range, but here's the thing. I want to see a bounce on this one. Here's the thing. This has a downward trend. I want to see a bounce off of this. The relative strength line, very strong 96, but it's pointed the wrong direction. So here's the thing. I think you got to wait for a bounce on this one. So here's the thing I would do. Here's the thing I would do in this one. I would not buy this one. So LEGN is a watch list. Don't buy yet. And that's really something that I kind of want to put out there. So I don't think it's a good buy right now. because it's pulling back. We'll see. Now, if it does get a bounce, what I'm saying is that it heads north from here, then, then it's possible that, there you go. So it's really a watch list here at this level because it still is moving in a downward direction. If we get another confirming day, it did move up today very nicely, but it pulled back after hours. So if it can stay in this buy zone, then you might do it. But right now, I would just watch it. I wouldn't jump in with two hands here. I just wouldn't, because this market. I mean, in a normal market, I would say, hey, we could definitely jump in on it. Now Halo, HALO, that's a different story. That's buyable. I think you could definitely do a half position on that one. Thoughts on MAT? This is Mckesson lines. Interestingly enough, for some reason, the shippers have been weak. Now, we do have a potential short on Zim, which has been such a great stock. Oh, I'm sorry, this is Mattel. For some reason, I was under the impression it was Mckesson. That's MATX, excuse me. Mattel, it's starting to get some, it went on this downward trend. Then it looks like it's getting a little bit of support here, but again, this still is in a downward trend. So I just, I just don't like buying stocks in a downward trend. I think you just got to wait. Now it has moved above the 200-day moving average, which is good. This is this black line here. So that's positive. And generally speaking, the relative strength line is going up, but it has been pulling back. So what would I do here? Probably nothing. I just think you got to see some more strength. You got to see a nice reversal on this one. It does have a very nice base here, but I think you gotta. I think you gotta let this one go, at least for now. I think this one is definitely not as viable as we would like it. All right, let's look at Zim first. I want to look at Zim because this is a potential short, interestingly enough. I have not done anything with this one, but I am looking at possibly shorting this one. This one is starting to lose strength. It's got kind of all characteristics. It moved up tremendously, way up here to 75. It's currently at 50. It's rallied to the 200-day line, but as you can see, this 50-day line is moving lower. So this is a potential short. Now here's the thing: in the last little bit of time, it has rallied here. So obviously, you want to short something when it is in an upward trend. It was up today, and then after hours, it's starting to pull back. So this one may be a good short. Zim. I haven't done anything with it yet. I'm probably, I may put together a bear put spread or something like that on it, but Zim is a potential short. And we're still not there with Zim, but this could be a very nice short. Now, as you can see, again, we have the head here, we have the left shoulder, and we have the right shoulder. So typically the right shoulder should be lower than the left shoulder, but as you can see, it did. This predicted, obviously, this sell-off here. And again, we've got this L-shaped pattern, and this is a shorting pattern. See how it comes down, and then it kind of L's out, and then it's kind of rallies to the 200-day line. If it can't hold this, it's probably going to go a lot lower. So that's something that we possibly could do as a short. I haven't shorted this one, but I am looking at it being shortable. I am short net, Samuel. I am short that one. So let's look at that. NET, and of course this is Cloudflare. And there we go. I am short this one. Hopefully this will work out. Hoping it will. Let's check in. I'm just going to see what the situation is. If this will come up here, and we can kind of see where we are on the Cloudflare potential short. So if we go over here to Cloudflare, see how I'm doing on this one. I may have shorted this one too, or I may have put this bear put spread on here too early. Yeah, as you can see, it's not it's not looking good. I'm down. I'm down on this one a little bit, and I have to let's see if I can. Yeah, I'm down about yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I've gone the wrong direction. I should have been going the other direction on this one. So, I'm going to probably have to make a decision on this. But I think this is shortable. I think I shorted it too early. And, I think that's part of my problem, to be honest with you. So, probably not as good idea to short it here. Just, probably let it go and see if we can get another better opportunity. All right, let's take a look at some of the other people. When is the Tesla split? Well, actually, Tesla split last year, and if you've been with me for a while, we did extremely well on that. It was a 10-for-1 split. I don't think Tesla is going to split again, not for quite a while. Remember, it took Google, I think, almost 20 years to do a split, so I don't think we're going to see a split on a Tesla. We did see that yet last year. We saw a 20-for-1 split in 2001. I think it was July 31st on that, but yeah, I think that was the timing. All right, QQQ. A little closer look, please. Hitting resistance. All right, that's a good question. Let's do the Qs. And see what's happening. So, are we hitting resistance on the Qs? Good question. I'm going to go over here and look at the technicals first. And it does look like we're above the 10-day, the 21-day, and the 50-day lines. We're below, of course, the 200-day. We're about 14% below the 200-day line. The question is, are we hitting any resistance? I do think that there is overhead resistance on the Qs at about 300 or so. That may be a little bit higher. The reason I do is you can see how this is. It went up to 314. That was its limit there, and then it kind of fooled around, and then it pulled back, and then it looks like it's going to come right up to about 305 or so. But I think it's going to get some resistance. So I do think that we have I do think we have resistance on the QQQ. Let me just see what the calculated pivot is here. Yeah, and we're pretty far away from it. We're 22% away from it. The 382 is where it's showing the resistance, and that's way up here. That's way up here. Let's see, 382. Yeah, it's right about here. It's saying the resistance is about there. I think that there's resistance lower here at about 305 or so. That's where I'm seeing resistance there, and that's where I think it is hitting resistance. All right, hi Jim. Short KOLD. Your thoughts on UNG? All right, let's look at UNG and see what we can see. Okay, the natural gas fund. I hope you didn't short this one because this is reversing. See, natural gas has come down here nicely. It's got a reversal on it, and we have an increasing strength on this one. It did get a little bit of it was rejected at the 50-day line, but at about 25. But I still think this one, the trend is up on this one. This one looks like it has reversed. So that's what I would say on this one, the United States Natural Gas Fund. Let's look at the natural gas price. I want to see what the nat gas price is today. Kind of look at the trend there. This is not any security. This is actually the commodity, the natural. Yeah, it's almost exactly the same. So it's come down. It got some support, and it is it's an upward trend. So yeah, I definitely think that's a bounce, and we're probably headed up on this. Yeah, definitely. And of course, part of the issues, of course, on natural gas is that Europe obviously has a problem with natural gas. They don't have enough natural gas. They're getting it all from from Russia, and of course the Russians playing games, which we all knew that they would, and they don't really have the capacity to import it from the U.S. or Qatar, but that is ramping up. There is some rampage on that. I want to look at a company called LNG, and this is a company called Cheniere, and this is the company that does liquefy natural gas and ship it out of two ports in Texas, one in Corpus Christi and the other one in Sabine, well, actually in Sabine Pass, Louisiana. This one is one I think you should put on your watch list. It is, I've owned it. I don't own it currently, but as you can see, it is basically, we're right at this reversal line. And it's kind of been, the relative strength has been flat on this one, so, not necessarily own it. But this one, I think, long-term has some real capabilities. You can see I haven't really touched it since back here. I was buying and selling it on the way up, and then I just haven't done anything. But this is one, if it can come back to its 150 high, then I think this one really is worthwhile looking at, because I think this one could go a lot higher. Just based on the demand for natural gas in Europe. All right. Okay. Let's take a question from TikTok. What do you think about Carvana? Death. Carvana. Let's take a look at Carvana. This is why. Let's see. CVNA. I think it's CVN, is that right, Carvana? Yeah, that's Carvana. Yeah, this is sort of like Peloton, sort of in the same category. This is how you can lose a lot of money in the stock market, is buying a stock like this. Unfortunately, if we look at the monthly chart, look at this. This is a moonshot, and of course it was all the way up here. Believe it or not, almost at $400. And you believe it? Wow. This is worth this is worth about, well, it was all the way up here at $400, and now it is at $22. So go figure. That's a long drop. And guess what? Stocks can go out of business. So companies can go out of business. So I just wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. I wouldn't even short it, because of the short squeeze. It just looks terrible. It just looks terrible. Short KOLD. Okay, let's look at KOLD. This will be one of our last ones for today. Last symbols, and that is natural gas again. This is the inverse. This is the short. The inverse one, so you probably don't want to do this one. I don't know if I would short. Here's the thing. I'd be very, very careful about this finance fund. I'd be very careful. This is a leveraged ETF. All right, this is a leveraged ETF. I don't like shorting leveraged ETFs. ETFs is fine to short, but I don't like to do the leveraged ones, just because it can be really a lot of risk. So just my take on it. But it's seeking results corresponding to twice. See, it's leveraged twice the inverse of the. So it's basically an inverse short, and it's twice that. So I would not short a short that's shorting. You get too much leverage, and if it goes against you, if there's a short squeeze, it can be extremely painful. So I'd be very careful about shorting KOLD. I'd be very, very careful about that. All right, well, we've almost run out of time here. Once again, I'm trying to stick to pretty strict times on this one. Let's see. If somebody gives you $5K and tells you to buy a dip stock long hold, what would you buy? Well, guess what? If somebody gave me $5,000, I might just take a vacation. No, I'm just kidding. Here's the thing. Right now, and I want to show you this. This is kind of an interesting thing. Right now, the last 6 months, we've had a very, very strange market. The market has rewarded holding, believe it or not, cash. Let me see. And this is why you don't want to buy the dips. I know this is what Kramer says, but it would not be, it would not be what I would be holding. Let's see, cash equivalent. And all right, let's see. I should know these off the top of my head, but I don't. So I have to look them up. I have to look these up. Where is it? Total spider. Well, oh goodness, not working. All right, hold on. All right, so let's look at various. All right. And basically, I'm looking for kind of a money market. I'm looking for kind of a money market one. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. The GSY. Why do I forget this? This is the one I always should look. GSY. All right. So, if we are to look, come on. Okay, a little bit of brain freeze there. We had a little bit of a bandwidth issue. Let's go to the GSY. All right, so let's compare the GSY against the spider. All right, here's the GSY, and here's the spider. Yeah. Okay, so GSY, and let's see if we can. Everything but okay. Hopefully, there we go. So now we can see it. So basically, here's the deal: if you held in cash, and actually that's been one of the best investments in the last 6 months, believe it or not, you would have lost about a little less, about 2%. That's the inflation rate. That's represented by the GSY. If you held it in the spider, and this is over the last year, you would have actually lost about 7%. And if you went into the NASDAQ, you would have been down about 15%. Look at that. Wow, that's amazing. Look at that. So basically right now, the best thing, if somebody gave you $5,000, the best thing to do probably would be to keep it in cash, at least for right now. Or you could buy the GSY, which essentially is a bond fund. So that's probably the best. Okay, so let's take the last two, and that is going to be AMD and CrowdStrike. Let's for fun, let's take a look, see how they've performed against each other. AMD, and let's see if I can put that in there. Yeah, they're Advanced Snake Micro Devices. It's up today. Good. And let's look at CrowdStrike. Let's add CrowdStrike in there. CRWD. Now, if we had held these over the last year, and actually since May they've been improving, but they're still pretty awful. CrowdStrike, you would have lost 25%, and with AMD, you would have broke even. So obviously, AMD is the better investment here, and let's see if it's viable. I don't think it is right now. I've owned AMD on and off. I do like the company a lot, but I still think it is in a downward trend. We may have seen a reversal, but again, I just don't want to touch it until I'm above that 200-day moving average. And the reason is overhead supply. So a lot of people who bought up here, the minute it gets up here, they're going to sell it. So I'm going to take my time before I buy back into the semis. I just want to see a lot more strength before I do it. Okay, well, if you didn't get a look at the strength map for the various sectors of the economy. Easy to do. Just go to this one. It's called the Industry Group Strength List, and you can see that directly by just going and copying this email, this link, https://bit.ly/DTF0160. So 0160, DTF0160, bit.ly, DTF0160, and that is the strength list. So that's a pretty good thing to have. And if you've not already signed up and liked this, I really would appreciate, of course. I need a lot of help in getting this out to everyone. So please, if you like the show, please like the show. Please like the show. I really would appreciate it. And also subscribe to it if you can. That would be great as well. And if you're not already a member of the free Action Trade Alerts, very, very easy to do. Join the email list. Very easy to do. Just go to www.dallastradingfloor.com. I'll be back tomorrow, of course, at 5 with try to answer as many questions as I possibly can. Thank you so much. Always appreciate. This is a fun show. We're going to be doing some change-ups here. Maybe have some guests on. I haven't really figured out how to do that yet, technically, but hopefully I will be able. Hopefully I will be able to do that soon. But until tomorrow, I'll be back at 5 o'clock Central Time. Happy trading.